What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Front Yard Fantasy Podcast live stream Wednesday. Wild and Out Trade Talk Taco Night. I ran out of T words, but that's where we are
with Nick Cannon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he brought the Wild and Out. I bring Nick Cannon.
If you guys watch the ASAP Rocky episode of Wild and Out season 13, I think, and look very carefully in the crowd, you will see me behind the red team.
Impossible.
I was there live.
100% lie.
That's 100% true.
Name a single episode of that show means it has to be true.
Did they film it?
Not.
They filmed it in Atlanta at the Tyler Perry Studios. And I used to live in Atlanta, and you can sign up for tickets, and they have a lottery, and we went. And it was wild now, but it was not as wild as today's going to be.
We are 100% going to go get that clip and put it on Twitter.
That would be awesome. That's
Simon
a great idea.
There like,
I'm going to be honest.
Dad nod.
I'm going to be honest. I stand out. I think I was the worst dressed person there and the worst dancer.
That tracks.
I was wearing like my nerdy work outfit. I came straight from work. It was, but it was really fun. I had on like my work collared shirt. I digress. We are here as always with Josh and John Luke, and our special guest, Peaked in High School from Reddit, is back with us to talk about his trade value charts, recent trades he's made, and just answer your questions, other trade questions that you may have.
Or any questions, really.
Or any questions, yeah.
Yeah, life in general, taxes.
Yes.
I'm not an accountant, but I'm here for you.
He gives me tax advice for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Sell stock. I don't know. That's all I got.
Sell stock.
Sell stock or something. I don't know. I'm also not good at finances.
Buy stock. Solid.
Yeah.
Do one or the
other. Solid accountant.
Jael and Josh, how are you guys?
Doing great.
I'm all right. Working in the office today, but I can always make time for you guys. You guys are more important. Let's be honest.
So
I hope no one up top's listening, but
well.
I sent everyone who's in your company on LinkedIn the link to this stream to check it out.
Good way to get fans.
Good way.
What's up, John? Sean is back. Glad to have you here, and he's got a question for us. So let's dive right in. Let's see.
So Matt Breida or Jonathan Taylor this week, PPR. I mean, it's just too early to tell, right? Like we just saw Matt Breida not practice this week. We haven't heard anything about Jonathan Taylor's ankle. My gut says Jonathan Taylor. We also don't know if Matt Breida's the guy. They're not going to be able to get Washington in time to trade. He has to sit out for COVID, right?
I think so.
But I mean, everyone's just throwing Jordan Howard out. I mean, the dude's still alive, I think. Like he could.
Has anyone checked on him recently?
Yeah. That's the thing. That's the thing. Is he?
And they still have what? Is it Laird? Patrick? Is that how you say it?
Patrick Laird. Yeah, I think.
So my gut says if they're both healthy, Jonathan Taylor, and let's see a week from Matt Breida. That's my gut. But
yeah, I have them pretty similarly ranked this week, so I would probably lean towards Taylor.
Awesome. Well, I hope we answered your question, Sean. But that's a tough one for sure. Alex is here again, as I mentioned, discuss his trade value charts. I know you gave us a rundown last week, but for people that are maybe joining us for the first time this week, you want to give a rundown again of what this is and how you create it?
Sure. So what I do is I take expert consensus rakes. I then apply an algorithm that I wrote to generate trade values. And then what you can do is you can take that far left column, that trade value, you trace it over to the player name, and it helps you look for similar players to trade for. Or if you're doing like a 2-for-2 type trade, you can sum those trade values to make sure your trades are in a ballpark. Don't be stuck on trying to get exactly to the same value. Be within a point or two or 5 points, whatever. That's all fine. To get to those trade values, that algorithm, what I did is I dug through the Reddit trade threads and looked for one-for-one positional trade type that were reported, and I used that to generate kind of a function that helps me make these values week after week, and then I update it regularly, normalized by a positional scarcity, targets, and some other factors as well.
Nice. So you are actually scanning the Reddit trade thread for this information, like digging through there for some of that.
I use it to not necessarily normalize, but as a QC check to make sure that we're in the right ballpark, and then might have to adjust it if we see a bunch of running backs go down and that scarcity goes away, and we start to see a shift in the running back 3 versus wide receiver 5 evaluation. It allows me to fix that a little bit. Yeah. But it's mostly use it to tweak now. I used it to create it, I don't know, 2 years ago. But now I use it to kind of, it's not the same. There's other variables that go into it, so it's flexible.
So you mentioned that you can like take almost like mix and match, just take the values and use that to kind of build your ideal trade. Is that how you use it, Alex, in your leagues? Like, have you seen it be effective in either convincing your league mates, or is it more so just like validation for yourself? So
both. So what I'll actually do, no one knows I make this. Like my league mates don't know I'm making this. I will actually. I actually will send it in the chat when I'm trying to convince someone to trade. You're like, hey man, this is where I'm starting from. This is where I'm coming from. And when I'm doing that, every trade I am offering, I am losing by a couple points.
Well, of course, you change it a little bit before you send it to them. Move
I'm
their
not
players
saying I don't.
down a little bit.
See, well, I actually don't just change it for just them. I just change it for everyone, and just don't say anything because I have no ethics, really.
I mean, winning in fantasy is more important than ethics. Let's be honest.
Winning above all else.
You can't be an award-winning accountant without having, some morality issues.
Exactly. But really, I will use it to look for potential trade partners. I mean, you can look at the sum of a team's running back position to get an versus the league average to get an idea of who's really weak there. Same thing for wide receiver or tight end, and then you just look for where you have strengths and target accordingly.
Something I notice, from looking at these from week to week is it sometimes like reveals to me recency bias. Like for instance, Patrick Mahomes, like him going up a point this past week. And I remember last week he went down like 4 or 5 points or something like that. And it was after that game he had like 12 points. And how are you like aware of what's recency bias versus what's like a longer trend?
So that's where reading this is kind of tough sometimes. Like you said, ideally it would be great. I haven't figured out how to have like a 3-week trend pop up easily graphically on the same PDF. If you guys have ideas, I'm more than willing. Like I've been trying. I'm working on some stuff, but I agree. The 3 week. I think a 3-week trend it would be huge. But yeah, it's knowing to take what you're seeing on this chart with kind of a grain of salt. Sometimes when you see that what appears to be recency bias is key, and that just comes with using it for a while.
Yeah, mix it with that other sources of information you're using.
That makes a lot of sense.
So it looks like we have Team A gives, and this was Sean's question where he hates the trade because it's between 2 brothers, which is always a point of contention. I have one league where one of these went down, and I'm the commissioner. I almost vetoed it. But it looks like Team A is giving Joe Burrow, DJ Moore, Boston Scott. Team B gives Patrick Mahomes, not spelled right maybe, Justin Jefferson, and T.Y. Hilton. Man, that's...
DJ Moore, Joe Burrow, Boston Scott. For Patrick Mahomes, Justin Jefferson, T.Y. Hilton.
I mean, it's definitely lopsided. I don't think it's anywhere near my veto threshold. I don't like it.
I don't have a veto threshold personally. I think vetoes should not be in your league. But yeah, I probably agree with you. It's a little lopsided, but I think it comes down to how you feel about Boston Scott and T.Y. Hilton. Those like second or third players in that trade.
I mean, I think the real question is, well, both of those are on the waiver wire in a lot of my leagues now. How do you feel about DJ Moore versus Justin Jefferson? That's what's key to me. Do you think DJ Moore is significantly better?
I'm having trouble determining which side people are upset about.
Okay.
I think it's a pretty even trade. This trade doesn't bother me at all. If I saw this trade go down in one of my leagues, I'd be like, good for them. Have a good time. That's just me personally.
I agree with you, Josh.
I think it's clearly the Mahomes side, Mahomes Jefferson. I disagree. I don't think Hilton and Scott do much to move this for me at all. It really comes down to Burrow and Moore versus Mahomes and Jefferson. You could swap Scott and Hilton on either one, and it wouldn't change my opinion. Not vetoable, but I don't like it. You couldn't pay me to take the Joe Burrow, DJ Moore side of this trade.
No.
Let's see. We got another guy coming in.
Looks like he did a swap for Fournette. Yeah. Thor. I'm gonna say Thor's a man.
My bad.
Yeah.
It's
He's
Thor
got the hair,
Justice,
got long blonde hair. You don't know.
So it looks like he did they did a swap Fournette for Hunter Henry after losing Kittle. Maybe a little bit of a sad trade. They're tilting. That's okay. I mean, what do you guys think? What do you think, Simon? You think that's a reasonable buy for Fournette?
Let's look at the chart.
The chart's not going to be kind to this.
Chart's okay.
It favors running backs, if I remember.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair trade. Especially if you need tight end. In a vacuum, I probably take the Fournette side of this.
It's a lot closer than I thought it would be
on
the chart.
It's not very far off.
Yeah, man, that's a solid trade. I think it's totally fine, especially if you have running back depth. Oh, yeah. You gotta get a piece. Hunter Henry is a very reasonable on an offense that's getting it done right now. I think that's fine.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Fournette's a little bit higher on here, and I think that's exactly how I feel about it. Like in a vacuum, I take Fournette, but it's close enough that your team situation, losing Kittle, probably makes sense for you to go out and grab a guy like Hunter Henry. And even though Hawkinson is below Fournette here, I don't think you could have gotten the trade done for Hawkinson. I think this is probably the best tight end you could have reasonably traded for in a 1-for-1 trade with Fournette. You're not getting Mark Andrews, Darren Waller, Travis Kelce, any of those guys, TJ Hawkinson. So I'm all down for it.
And when you get to that tier of TJ Hawkinson down to Noah Fant, they're all effectively the same to me, in my opinion. They're all getting the same-ish number of targets, the same. They're just it's a crapshoot. Tight end's tough this year for sure.
Yeah.
Every year.
So, Alex, there was I wanted to ask you what things stood out to you on the chart this week, because I know there's a couple. Whenever I was scrolling through here, I mean, obviously there's the obvious ones, like you see minus 14.5 for Jonathan Taylor, minus 10 for Zeke, like minus 10.5. But some of these make sense. But is there anything that was kind of surprising to you or stands out to you about the value charts this week?
I think those ones, yeah, those are interesting, but there's justifications, right? I think that's the market correcting maybe too far. It's hard to tell. What do you guys think about Kenny Golladay with him being a little bit hurt? Rumors of him sitting out until he gets his contract. That one pops up to me of, I don't know if I'm buying him at that level. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's a like fool me twice type of thing. Mm-hmm. Like people, they were okay with the one injury, and then he gets re-injured or exacerbates the first injury. Yeah, and it's a hip injury, so I think people might just be getting scared away. I don't know if it's warranted or not. With injuries, it's tough. I wouldn't necessarily buy the injury dip, but if you really believe in Golladay, then go for it.
Which running back would you give up for? Let's say you have plenty of running back depth. Where would you feel comfortable giving up a running back?
That is a good question.
I mean, scroll down on that list, Simon. I think we're too high for my blood.
David Montgomery, I would consider. Maybe Chase Edmonds.
Yeah, well, Chase Edmonds would get it done for me.
I don't know if the Golladay owner would take that, given where they drafted him. But
do you have something to say, Josh?
Yeah. When I look at this, I just look at the wide receivers in the range of Kenny Golladay, and I would not be trading for him. I'd much rather have any of these receivers right around him. So to your point about trading for, I really wouldn't want to trade a running back for him because they're so valuable, especially this time of year with all the injuries.
Yeah. Like I would. Yeah, I wouldn't even do Monty unless I really, really had depth. I think the Chase Edmonds, Henderson, Swift, Dobbins, just for the upside, because I think he is a top 5 talented wide receiver in the league. And if he is fine and gets his contract or whatever and is playing, I want him on my team. But you're right. I would put him below the Robert Woods tier of wide receiver personally right now. Easily. And maybe in the Mike Evans and Kupp tier.
I was going to say I would go down another tier whenever I'm looking at the running backs, like specifically who I would trade for them.
Yeah. Now, Alex, do you see any sort of like lagging indicator here with like injuries typically when you're going and calculating this through the algorithm? Like, should we expect Kenny Golladay to move down more as the weeks go on? He doesn't play.
Yeah, I expect throughout. There's 2 people on here right now that are popped up real big that shouldn't be. Myles Gaskin, he should be at like a 10 or 15 probably. Some of it, and what's crazy is I only pulled rest of season ranks from yesterday, and they must have just been right before the news came out, in the afternoon. I don't know when it dropped, around 3 o'clock Eastern time. I expect he'll drop when I run it again this afternoon. I expect Kenny Galladay will probably drop just from recency bias as well. And maybe Mixon as well will drop because he didn't practice this week, would be my gut feeling. But none of those would be a lot besides Gaskin. Gaskin's going to go way down.
Yeah.
3 weeks at the end of the season when you might lose your job it's not insignificant.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
So it looks like we got a question from All Day I Dream About Football. Adidas.
Space Adidas.
Oh, sorry. Do I need to verbalize the space, or do I just wait?
Every
Probably.
Right.
With this one, I think when all those other words are together, that space seems significant.
And I got to say the rest of them really fast. Got it. All right. So looks like he's not having any luck getting a quarterback. He picked up Cam Newton thinking it could be not bad against the Jets, which is not a bad choice. Should I be looking to trade or continue to stream each week? I mean, it really depends who's on your waiver wire. It's hard to say. I'm pretty out on Cam. How does your league trade for quarterbacks? I know the not sharp leagues, my home leagues, you got to give them your firstborn for their third string quarterback because they are rostering 3 quarterbacks in this 1 quarterback lead. How about you guys? Do you have some leagues like that?
Yeah, I have a couple. I remember our dynasty league, Josh. I think it was it Tommy who took the strategy like, I'm just going to get all the QBs. You guys are going to have to trade me, and then it's like a 10-man dynasty.
I did trade for two quarterbacks away from him, Andrew Luck and Carson Wentz, 2 separate times in a dynasty. So I guess he kind of paid off a little bit. I didn't overpay for those.
I traded for a quarterback in that league as well because I traded Cortland Sutton for Josh Allen.
It works.
I traded for 2 quarterbacks in the last 2 weeks in that league. I just realized.
But I guess,
but I'm not giving away anything. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, I almost my rule is if it's this doesn't count for super flex, obviously, but 1 quarterback league, I almost never give up unless I am really stacked at every other position. I can afford to give up, a solid running back or wide receiver, tight end to upgrade my quarterback position. And I think that small advantage is going to help me get the win in that league. Other than that, I'm not usually giving up any depth or any flex pieces for a quarterback.
So let's say you need to get that quarterback. What tier of quarterback are you looking for? Are you looking at that Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, or are you middle tier? Where are you aiming personally? What's your? So I know it's person specific. Go ahead.
Yeah. The way that I would go about it is I'd look at your team, see which position you are best set up at in terms of depth and upside, and see if you can trade one of those middle to lower end pieces to get a not the best quarterback. Because like Alex said, anyone who went and drafted Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, they're not going to give up those quarterbacks for nothing. They drafted them where they drafted them for a reason. And so go after, see if you can find the quarterbacks who are going to do well enough for your team to hold you over, and you're not going to have to give up too much to get them.
The Matt Ryan, the Big Ben.
Yeah, Joe Burrow.
Yeah. So the one caveat to that is I would tap the Lamar Jackson owner and see how they're feeling. There's a chance that they grabbed Tannehill or something off the waiver wire and are just tilting their face off. And you might get, like, he just moved this week in my league, and I was surprised that he sold. So
yes, this isn't. I wasn't including like the idea too that I wasn't even thinking about like how the current owner might feel about that player. I would definitely go and explore, see if they're undervaluing. But yeah, I would target, see if there's any quarterbacks in that range. If you can get an upper tier quarterback who the manager values is a lower tier, then obviously that's a good value for you. Yeah,
Diggity Dog says the Russ manager wants either Aaron Jones or CMC. That's a hard pass. That's an easy one to no thank you.
Send them a picture of your toilet.
Yeah, pound sand is a full sentence. So looking to trade for Russ, values him very highly. Overpay. I mean, I just wouldn't. I can't bring myself to do it. He already has Ryan. He's fine. Nope. Pass.
Trade for Russ. Aaron Jones.
I
Chris
mean,
Godwin.
if you could, I wouldn't trade either of those running
No.
backs for Russ and Tyreek. What was it? Aaron Jones and Chris Godwin for Russ and Tyreek. That's a hard pass. Maybe Chris Godwin
got a
for.
lot of running back depth.
Yeah,
I mean,
you do.
I take it back for Russ and Tyreek. I might actually do that. Because he has CMC and J Rob and JT. Like, shit. That's actually not bad.
I tried to go down. I tried to see if you could do Justin Robinson and Chris Godwin, but I don't know if they'll bite on that.
That's
Name value
interesting,
isn't there.
Get rid of the injury concerns for both those guys.
Or even Jonathan Taylor, maybe.
I mean, are you guys worried about Godwin? He broke his finger and had surgery. Don't you need your fingers to catch a football?
NFL footballs go really fast.
Yeah. I'm flip-flopping. I'm going to take this back. I would probably do Aaron Jones and Chris Godwin for Russell Wilson and Tyreek. I probably would do that.
I'm curious what the chart says about it. So we've got Aaron Jones up here at 49.5. Someone going to do this math for me?
Yeah. I got you.
Okay, 49.5 for Aaron Jones. And then
Godwin's
Chris Godwin's at 22.
All right.
So that is a value of
71.5.
Thank you.
Alex, I think we need to build a little calculator for you.
Russell Wilson is at 27.5. Didn't someone build a calculator for you?
Oh,
Yeah. Real Monty has one.
There we go. So Russell Wilson's at 27.5 and Tyreek Hill is at 45.
I mean, they're the same. Yeah, that's a fair trade. I don't even need to do the math. Like
this is an interesting one, and because of the injuries, I would probably take this.
I would take this. Yeah,
that's interesting. You guys might be convinced. I think I'm still staying on the Aaron Jones and Chris Godwin side, but it is a lot more convincing. You guys are showing that it's the fact that he has Matt Ryan, who I think is going to be good for the rest of the season. Yeah. If he had, I don't know, who am I worried about at quarterback? If he had Carson Wentz or Jared Goff or Cam Newton, Cam Newton's a good example, then I think I'd be more inclined to make this trade.
Yeah. I mean, what if Aaron Jones doesn't play tomorrow? Then I think it's easy. Like if he's out another week, I think because his value will drop, to maybe 40. If another week, he's looking for a playoff team too. I mean, it really is hard to give up Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
Okay.
The difference between Russell Wilson and Matt Ryan is 57.9 fantasy points on the season. Standard. That doesn't matter. So 57. What is that divided by? What is it? 8 weeks we've gone through.
Yeah.
7.23 points a game. So is that enough? Like, is that going to give you an edge over what Jones is? Losing Jones.
Looks like he gets the Lockett Russ stack as well. I would do it. I hate buying quarterbacks. I would probably do this one, man. This was a good one. You set up a good trade. This was a tough one.
Very interesting one. Yep.
Yeah.
Man, on the surface, I feel like all of us were like,
yeah,
and then we looked at it and we were like, wait, I'm still, I think I'm still on the other side, but I completely understand taking the other side. I think I might be in the minority if you were to put this up for a poll, taking the other side on that one.
I'm with you, Simon, but slightly.
So it looks like Sean is trying to get Mark Andrews from a desperate man for running backs. That's what we like to hear is desperate men. Crazy.
We specialize in desperate men.
What do you think he can offer? He has Lev Bell, Austin Eckler, James Robinson, Jonathan Taylor, Chase Edmonds, Gio. He has Hunter Henry.
See if you could. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Alex.
I was going to say, I wouldn't give up anything for Mark Andrews if you have Hunter Henry. That's my stance on this.
Not with those running backs. I wouldn't give up a running back.
He might have higher running backs that he's not including. Those are just the ones he's willing to trade.
He's got Henry. He's got Henry.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not getting traded. No, he needs his firstborn child.
Yeah. The other thing I consider when thinking of tight ends too is how big is the league, because that affects tight ends. If it's a smaller league, tight ends become a little bit more valuable. Bigger leagues, it becomes less important of a position, even though you only start one.
I was out on Mark Andrews at his ADP. I have 0 shares of Mark Andrews. I just didn't trust that passing offense, and they made me trust it even less. I'm not buying Mark Andrews anywhere. Now, I could very well be wrong. I've been wrong about a lot of things this year. So if it's telling you that Mark Andrews is going to have a bounce back second half of the season, the Ravens are going to figure out their passing game, I would see if you could maybe flip Gio while he's on this hot streak. Like that's one that I might try to move, but I wouldn't move Lev, Eckler, Robinson, or Taylor, and probably not even. I'd give it a week I'd let Kenyon Drake come back and see what it looks like before I moved Edmonds. I'm not willing to move that because he's looked great. Drake looked awful. I'd give it a week where both of them are back and see how that plays out.
Now,
would you do?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, would you do Gio plus Hunter Henry for Mark Andrews? That's the only one that jumps out to me as even being viable. Everything else is too much.
I would not, but I'm out on Mark Andrews.
Same.
I think that's a fair trade though for someone who's in on Mark Andrews. I don't think that's a ridiculous trade.
Now, Mark Andrews he's lost 3 value points according to the chart. What do you guys think is the reason for that? Oh, he lost Simon. He's having some webcam issues, so.
I mean, he hasn't topped 50 yards this season. I'm trying to remember. It might be like 59.
Week 1 and week 2, he had 73 and 83, and then since then he hasn't topped 50. Well, except for week 3 where he topped exactly 50.
And I mean, Lamar Jackson throwing the ball hasn't looked spectacular. If he doesn't get a touchdown, he's a touchdown or bust tight end right now. He just is, and so is every other tight end besides Kelsey and Waller. So
yeah,
they're about the same to me. I mean, Herbert's slinging the ball looks good. Like I'm in on Hunter Henry.
I was totally looking at Hunter Henry and not Mark Andrews. Whoops.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my apologies. He has top 50 though. He had 58 week 1, week 4, and week 5, 57, 56. But other
so
than
it's
that,
59.
Not over
number
60.
Yeah. He hasn't topped 60 and 4 catches or something. Some of them are for 2 touchdowns, but I wouldn't overpay for him. But
2 3-point weeks might be affecting, at least in half-point PPR leagues, might be affecting his value too. We were talking about recency bias earlier, so that's something to consider.
I put Mark Andrews, and maybe this is hot takey, I'd put him down here with Jonnu Smith, Jared Cook, and Rob Gronkowski. Specifically, Jared Cook was the player I was looking for as like a comparable tight end that I'm pairing him with, where you're kind of looking for that touchdown. He's not going to get that high pass volume. You're really hoping for a touchdown. At least I'm assuming that's how Jared Cook will be used with Michael Thomas back in the lineup.
I feel like Josh is over there just brooding.
No. I'm just. I don't think Hunter Henry has done really much more than Mark Andrews this year.
He
right?
has not.
I would be willing to trade Hunter Henry and Gio for Mark Andrews.
I think it's fair. What do you guys feel about Noah Fant? This is one that pops out to me as the now Noah Fant owner because I lost Kittle and had to get someone. Do you think that's a good spot for him? You think he should be higher or lower?
That's probably right where he belongs.
Really?
I think a little bit higher.
Yeah, higher for me. I would put him in the Jared Cook, Gronk tier or above it, to be honest. He's getting more targets than those guys. Drew Locke is insane and just loves to throw the ball, at least this year. I don't know. To me, I thought he was an excellent buy low target, personally.
I would love to have him in any dynasty league. I think he's going to be inconsistent. But so I think he probably belongs right. Yeah, in my opinion, right there. Maybe a little bit higher, maybe closer to Gronk. I mean, Gronk, I like the stats Gronk's putting up. I think his stats are better than most tight ends the last couple weeks, right?
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah,
I agree with Josh.
So we got.
I think we've beat that one to death. We've beaten tight ends to death right there.
Yeah, and anytime you spend more than 30 seconds on tight end, it's too long. We got one from Apple MVP 21 because it's all one word. 12-team non-PPR trade Galladay, Hawkinson, Dobbins for Metcalf. That's so. All right, we'll break that down. Wow. He has Waller and Tanyan. And the Metcalf owner is reeling, I assume, from the loss to Kittle. Is drinking bleach, is considering terrible things.
Desperate men.
What do you think about this, JL? Just looking at it, 3 decent players for Metcalf, who has just been insane.
Man, if you had asked me this in the beginning of the season, I would have been shocked. Would have been like a ridiculous offer. Now, I don't know. I think Dobbins is trending up. Galladay, we already talked about him. Not sure with the injury. That's going to be depending on like if you can stomach trading him away at a lower value than where you drafted him. Honestly, though, like after knowing the first 8 weeks of the season, I would consider it. If you have the depth at tight end, you can afford getting rid of Hawkinson. I don't know what your running back and wide receiver situation looks like, but assuming that you have other players to back up the loss of Dobbins and Galladay, then I would consider it.
Josh is making some faces. What are you thinking?
No, yeah, I would probably do this trade.
Yeah. I agree. I would do this trade. Anytime you're trading, especially depreciating assets like Galladay, Dobbins, I think we're maybe selling high, but you are losing some potential upside. Hawkinson is solid, but you have Waller, so you're fine. But Metcalf is a freaking stud, man.
He's going to continue to be a stud too.
I would do this anytime you can consolidate like this, long as you have depth. Of course, this is an assumption. These are the trades I like because then you can grab someone off the waiver wire.
Yep.
You can grab your Matt Breida 12 team. You probably can't, but you can grab someone that might pop again, just like you did with Dobbins.
Yeah. There's value in that bench spot.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because we're not even accounting for that for sure. But yeah, I would do it. Summary.
Seriously. Yeah. I think you summed it up perfectly.
Would you guys trade Chris Carson for Mr. Elliott right now?
This is an interesting one.
Trade chart says no. What do you guys think?
I also say no. That hurts my feelings a little bit, but
what if Carson's out this week?
Still no. It's been pathetic for Zeke since they lost Dak. It's been like really, really hard to watch. And I keep thinking, we're just waiting for he's going to have that week. It'll come back. The offense will run through him, but there just is no offense. And it's shocking to me. Like it's truly been shocking because I've seen bad teams with good running backs have solid performances before, like Saquon Barkley on the Giants has had some great performances.
Christian McCaffrey
on the Panthers, great performance. And it's just, I didn't realize how bad the situation was in Dallas. I'm taking Chris Carson.
Same.
Josh?
Yeah, Chris Carson. I don't like saying it, though, out loud. Chris Carson, Zeke, he's never gotten injured. You're going to have him in your lineup. Chris Carson, we don't really know when he's coming back. He's always been an injury risk. Having said all that, I'm still going Chris Carson.
Oh, yeah. It's crazy to say, but yeah, I think it's got to be Chris Carson right now.
Oh my God, yeah, that hurts.
Sean makes a good point about Noah Fant. He's worried about Alberto and the target he's been getting.
No, I need you to say it. I need you to say it, Simon.
Yeah, go ahead, say it. I couldn't hear you.
Akwubanam.
That's perfect. You're a natural.
Yeah. You ignorant mother.
I took French. I took French in high school, so
that's a good point. But he only had one target last week. He caught it for a touchdown. But and I think Albert O is talented. I'm a Mizzou fan, so I watched him play. Excuse me.
That was better than Simon.
Yeah,
No, it wasn't.
But that's a concern. That's fair.
That was great.
So it looks like Tim McDaniels has Cam Newton in a super flex. Oh, sorry, 17. I don't want to forget the other 16 of them. My other quarterbacks, he has a lot of them. He has Lamar, Drew, Haskins, and Cousins. Is it smart to explore trades with Cam involving his value isn't where it could be? It's never silly to look for trades, but you're probably not going to get value, like you said. And then what value would you be looking to get for Cam in a super flex? I don't have a high enough first to get QBs in the upcoming draft for reference. So I'm assuming this is dynasty. Yeah.
That changes a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't play a lot of dynasty, so I'm actually going to defer to who's the dynasty expert here. Is it Josh?
Josh is the super flex
guy.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I love my dynasty and I love my super flex. This trade is a good one.
I introduced Josh to dynasty, so
he did. I can't get enough now.
I don't want to take credit, but I deserve credit.
No, you get all that credit, JL. You deserve that. I love our dynasty league, but Tim, yeah. So if I would be willing to trade Cam Newton in this league. I like that you have 3 quarterbacks you can feel comfortable starting. In a Superflex league, you should be able to get some value for him. But right now, he just doesn't look great. I would be trying to shop him personally. I don't know if he's going to be even in the league next year. And if you can get a 2nd-round pick for him,
For
a
Cam?
1st-round pick, absolutely.
You
I
don't
would
think
do.
Cam will be?
What?
You
You're
don't
not
think
getting-
Cam will be in the league this year?
I'm not saying he won't be. I'm just saying I don't know if he will be. He looks not good. I would trade him for a 1st-round pick.
Would you trade him for a 2nd?
A high 2nd. I know you can't really guarantee that right now, but if it looks like it's going to be a higher pick, I doubt someone's going to want to give you that if they're not doing well. You're going to have to find a team that's playing well and needs a quarterback, in my opinion.
Yeah, I wouldn't try and trade him right now in Dynasty. I personally think this is a low point, and so he will have value. I mean, just in the beginning of the season, people were like pretty sure that he was going to be at least top 10, top 5, top 10, and then it all kind of fell apart. And so I think that most likely things will at least rebound, if not for just a little bit, and then try and trade him then. But if you can get a 1st, I would probably still take that.
Would you trade one of the other 4 right now? He had Haskins, Locke, or Lamar. I don't know if he needs it, but would you look at any of those guys as sells right now? What are you guys? Where are you on those 4?
Locke or Haskins? I would trade if you could. I don't know if you can.
I'm not going to get anything for Haskins, huh?
No,
You might as well
probably
wait to see if he gets traded. Was my gut. Like if he goes to, I actually have no idea. Where would he go and potentially start? The Giants?
I'm not confident that he will go anywhere and start based off of what we've been
Patriots.
hearing out of
Patriots.
why he got benched and everything. So
Yeah.
Drew Lock, maybe I would keep Lamar for now.
Yeah.
You'd be selling very low. So
But it never hurts to poke around and see what people will give up. Maybe someone's super high on Cam. Just feel them out and say, hey, especially look at the people that could
Take
use a QB3 on their team.
yeah.
I'd do
Maybe
it
they have a
for.
bye.
I'd do it for a 2nd-round pick, any 2nd-round pick, even a
Me too.
late 2nd-round pick in a dynasty draft. I'd move Cam,
Yes.
if you could. The other ones, I would hold every single one of them. But like Alex said, maybe look at how people are valuing Lamar Jackson. So we have an update on that on that Chris Carson trade.
So it looks like he's now asking for CEH, Carson, and Brandon Cooks. And then you get Zeke, David Johnson, and Ayuk. Would you do it? He has good wide receiver depth with A.J. Brown, McLaurin, Allen Robinson. He has excellent wide receiver depth.
So let's break this down real quick. Ayuk versus Brandon Cooks.
Coin flip.
Yeah,
Josh?
seriously. I swear I was thinking the same thing. Coin flip. I'm not joking.
Okay.
It's a coin flip in my mind.
CEH or David Johnson.
What are you thinking, Simon?
I was just looking at Brandon Cooks and
Yeah.
Brandon. They're a couple points separated, but they are next to each other wide receiver wise in this chart. Like above Ayuk, the next wide receiver is Cooks. I would probably prefer Ayuk. If Will Fuller had gotten traded, then I probably would have preferred Brandon Cooks. But it's very close. That doesn't tilt the needle for me. I think I prefer CEH over David Johnson, but it's really close again. That's another really close comparison. I'm not convinced Lev is going to maintain the carry share that he's gotten based on how he's looked so far. I think CEH may retake over that backfield.
And then it's back down to Carson versus Zeke at that point. I would say CEH and David Johnson, you can make an argument, are near coin flip, right? And then Ayuk and Brandon Cooks are once again coin flip. So it's Zeke versus Carson. It's a super fair trade. I bet points wise, it's going to be within 2 or 3 points just looking at where they are. Where are you leaning, JL?
Oh yeah, this is going to come down to how you feel honestly about the Zeke versus Carson debate. I personally think CEH has a lot of upside. I also don't dislike David Johnson, so I do like Ayuk over Brandon Cooks. Yeah, honestly, I would probably take the CEH Carson side of this, but I kind of want to take the Zeke David Johnson Ayuk side of it. But I feel like that's like my heart. The other one's my mind. So I would probably
I think
go
the
with Carson.
I think the tiebreaker for me is your wide receiver depth. because like for me, I would view Brandon Ayuk as a slight upgrade over Brandon Cooks, even though it's close. But you don't need an upgrade at wide receiver. You've got AJ Brown, Terry McLaurin, Allen Robinson, Antonio Brown, and Mike Williams is your is your fifth wide receiver. I would hold on to what you have, I think.
We should also talk about you getting rid of your wide receiver depth. Not getting rid of, don't drop these players, but like
balancing your team a little bit.
Go add AJ Brown plus CEH for
That's the trade you need to be looking for.
Yeah, like don't look for what you're looking at right now are positional swaps, right? You're doing one running back for one and one running back. That's not what you need to be doing. With wide receiver depth like that, go buy Hopkins, go buy Adams, go buy you say Panera?
Panera, go get yourself some soup. It's a bread bowl.
Yeah.
The mac and cheese and fill it with so much pepper that it turns black. That's the move.
Go look for the team that's starting Russell Gage as their wide receiver too, and see which running back they're willing to get rid of. Because they probably have CMC or Chubb or something. Go snag that guy. That's what
Chubb or who drafted Galladay.
Or let's take even Chubb. I'm shocked by Kareem Hunt's value going down 5.5 points. Absolutely shocked by it. That was the one I want to bring up. If you could package CEH plus something else for Kareem Hunt, maybe one of these wide receivers, I would do that in a heartbeat. I think Kareem Hunt's going to be just as good, if not better, when Chubb comes back, especially with OBJ out. That's a player I'd be looking to buy on. I would prefer him over CEH by a landslide right now.
I bet they line him up in the slot when he comes back, when Chubb's back. Like they need people to catch the ball.
Yep.
Yeah. Shortest wide receiver.
So before we move on to our game, I'm sure there's some more questions will come in. Alex, you were telling me a little bit about a trade that you did this week that kind of lines up with something we were talking about last week with team defenses kind of cracking into this chart. I don't see. Did they make it onto the chart this week?
No. Did not.
But you made a trade with a team defense this week.
I sure did. So what I did is I went and looked for the team in my league who had been streaming defenses poorly. Their average score on defense for the year was -1. I can't you can't make that up. And I was lucky that some jabroni in my league dropped the Steelers defense to pick up a starting quarterback because they needed that to win. So I blew it and got the Steelers defense, and I had Tampa Bay. So I went and poked on this guy and started pushing like, hey, you want a defense? Hey. And eventually got him to say, sure, defense swap. I'll take your Tampa Bay for Deontay Johnson. And I have never hit except faster. What do you guys think?
Horrible trade for you. I mean, man, you really missed that defense. So
I am a firm believer of the draft 8 defenses to keep them away from all of your league mates.
Love it.
You killed it, man. You killed it. I mean, Deontay Johnson, he's a starter on my, if I have him, he's most likely a starter in my lineup going into this week.
If you can trade a defense for anything, any amount of value, it's probably worth it.
So typically I don't look for one-for-one trades where I'm giving up a defense. This was a unique situation. I try and look for my running back plus a defense for a better running back or wide receiver. Those are the trades I would look for. If you happen to have 2 defenses or one that people are poking at, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, and that's it this year, maybe the Colts, and you can get someone that's decent or stream. There's a lot of streamers this week in particular. Washington, the Giants are fine. Texans are fine. Like
Minnesota.
Minnesota. Who's Minnesota playing? I actually can't think. Who are they playing?
The Lions.
That's fine.
Sunday at 1.
I completely blanked. Forgot you would be talking to me, the person who just said that you could stream Minnesota.
Yeah, you look for that team where you can trade your Baltimore plus Todd Gurley for, I don't know, Chubb or something. Like, get that trade done. Look for someone where you're 5 to 10 points off and you can get them. Those are trades I love to do.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Throw in the player that's like temporarily high value, right? The Geos, in previous weeks, the Mike Davises. And see if you can parlay that into a season-long value.
Depending on what you think about Kenyon Drake, the Chase Edmonds, I'm not doing it, but some people may be trying to cash out high on him. Another one of those players. So I hope you guys have been really studying this while we've been going through, because we are playing a quick game of poll perception today. It is a variant. The only one who knows the updated rules is Alex so far. We're about to surprise Josh and JL with how this game is going to go.
I'm not surprised. I knew all along.
You knew all along. I didn't even tell you. It must be that ESPN we have.
ESPN.
But
good thing we got that ESPN.
How this is going to work is we're only going to play 3 rounds, okay? We're going to do 3 rounds of poll perception. And you know how our last round works where everyone writes the answer down? We're doing that for all 3 rounds. But there's an additional variant. Everyone can score every round. So, however, if you are within the necessary margin, if you're close enough, you will get points regardless of who's the closest. And we're going to play 3 rounds like that. Whoever has the most points at the end of 3 rounds will be our winner.
All right.
What about for the people who don't know what poll perception is?
We will.
We will do it.
Sorry. Then you're just shit out of luck. Just kidding. I'll explain the rules shortly. Poll perception is our OG game that we've been playing. You can find our old games on our YouTube channel and on Twitch. Go follow us there, subscribe, and then you can watch all of our old poll perception games. But before you do that, I'll explain the rules here so you don't have to watch them to understand. I'm going to propose a poll to, this time, all 3 players, trade poll, and I'll ask them what percentage of the public chose one specific side of that poll. Everyone will guess their answer, and the closer you are, the more points you get. At the end of 3 rounds, whoever has the most points is going to be our winner.
All right.
We got some good ones this week. There's one player who might show up twice. I just thought there were some interesting polls. So our first one for you 3 guys, if you are ready, how this is going to work. You got your pen and paper ready?
Yep.
And then I'll give you guys each a minute to tell me why you put what you did. Maybe give us some insight. Our first poll comes at you from Reddit with 379 votes. Okay. And this is a redraft league. Side A is CMC, Christian McCaffrey. Side B is AJ Brown and Josh Jacobs. What percentage of people chose the Christian McCaffrey side of this trade?
What scoring format?
It doesn't say. All it gave us was that this was a redraft league.
So we're just all writing down our percentage we think for side A there?
Yeah,
for side A.
What percentage of the public would prefer CMC over AJ Brown and Josh Jacobs?
I want to see Sean's guess too.
Yeah. Feel free to guess in the comments.
Yeah, if you guys can win, we can keep score for you guys as well. See if anyone beats our 3 players. Oh, shoot, what's the answer?
Good one.
Just make it up. It's fine.
Where the points don't matter, everything's wrong. I was actually 370 of these 379 votes with all my alternate Reddit accounts. I used my I've got one different Reddit account for everything that I love. I've got a Fountain Pen Reddit account, a Bob's Burgers Reddit account, a Fantasy Football Reddit account,
Big Booty Judy Reddit account,
an Emily Osment Reddit account.
Emily Blunt,
don't we all?
Reddit account?
Yeah, everyone has an Emily Osment Reddit account. Emily Osment's the superior Emily, Joe.
Ooh, 62%. That's a lot. That's a lot.
You guys got your answers written down?
No.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to get my calculator ready so I'm not just struggling here with some math. Okay, who wants to reveal first? You know what? You don't get to choose. I'm going to choose. Alex, you're going to reveal first this round. What is your guess?
I guessed 41% want the Christian McCaffrey. And
Alex,
now I'm second guessing that quickly.
Alex guessed 41%. Josh, what did you guess?
I guessed 54%. I don't love my guess. Can you see it? Yeah, 54%. Yeah. I don't love it. You know, when I first thought about this, I was kind of on the other side, and I was like, Christian McCaffrey. People want him right now. This is the time to get him. So, I'm playing the game.
Okay, John Lucas.
I was tempted to scratch mine out and rewrite it after I knew theirs.
You cheater.
I didn't. All right.
51%.
So I got reverse prices righted.
Yeah, you got middled.
I did it to myself. I prices righted myself.
Okay.
Well, we'll see.
So I will tell you that one of you was within 5 percentage points. And so you will get
probably not JL.
We'll get those
probably
5
not
points.
Me.
The actual answer Alex has guessed a 41%, Josh 54, JL 51, and Sean 62. The actual percentage of people that chose Christian McCaffrey, 38%. Alex, you were 3 percentage points away, so you get 5 points. Josh, you were 16 away, which is right outside of the 15 percentage point margin, so you get 0. And John Luke, you were within 15, so you had 1 to your score. So after one round, the score is 5-0 to 1. Alex, you are winning. But we got 2 more questions. Plenty of time to come back.
Where would you guys be on that? Let's say you had the depth, that's fine. Do you want CMC or do you want the Josh Jacobs and AJ Brown?
See, it's funny. I should just probably answer the question more like I feel like that's what I typically do when we play this game. And then recently I've been trying to like read the Twitter sphere of people, but I would prefer the Josh Jacobs, AJ Brown side.
I think it's fair. I think it's a very fair trade.
It is.
I would want the CMC side, but
and that's so funny. And you chose the other side. That's funny.
I'm on Reddit a lot.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
He knows his trade values.
I think Christian McCaffrey is not going to get all the workload he was getting. He's still going to be fantastic, better than Josh Jacobs, but Josh Jacobs is still a very good running back. And then you add in AJ Brown if you need wide receivers, then it's a great piece to add.
And then we should also take a moment to point out how terribly wrong Sean was.
Actually, he answered it perfectly on the other side. It was exactly reverse.
Yeah, people are high on Josh Jacobs. And it's not. I mean, he had 31 touches last week. Like he's getting the work. His O line's getting healthy. His schedule's opening up. I mean, he played against Tampa Bay, and then he played against someone else last week that I don't remember at this time.
But it was a team.
I think they were alive.
It's a windy game against the Browns.
Yeah. It was.
I will say, whenever I saw this poll, I did vote on it. So one of the votes is me. Maybe I skewed a little bit.
That's
I voted for the CMC side. I would take CMC in this deal. So Sean, I expected it whenever I voted on it to come out CMC winning, just because that name draws so much attention. You just immediately want to click on it whenever you see CMC on the side of the trade. But yeah, I was a little bit surprised too. Round 2 though, we've got one crossover player. Oh, JL, did you have something?
I was going to say, according to these draft value charts, that's about an 43.5 for Josh Jacobs. AJ Brown is 33.5, so that's 76. And so Christian McCaffrey's is 59. So I think it is a little too rich for my blood. I don't know that you're getting that much more out of CMC than you are Jacobs, enough to give up a top tier wide receiver as well.
He says, fair enough. Okay, on to the next poll. This one has one crossover player, but I like this one. This is our only dynasty poll of the day. The other 2 are redraft. So, which wide receiver do you prefer in dynasty? Side A, AJ Brown. Side B, DK Metcalf. What percentage of people chose AJ Brown?
Dynasty.
Dynasty.
This is a dynasty trade. It's actually a guillotine
Empire League.
Salary cap Empire League.
Super flex?
Super duper flex.
League of Legends League.
It's a kicker premium league.
Love those.
Really devalues the wide receiver position. So
yeah, it's actually -1 point per reception for wide receivers in this league.
So Sammy Watkins is doing well.
Okay, you guys got your answers written down?
Yep. I guess so.
Josh, you're going first this time.
I love AJ Brown. But DK Metcalf is the truth. I'm gonna go with 18% chose AJ Brown here.
Josh says 18%. JL?
Now I'm questioning whether I went too high. 38%.
That's too high. That's terrible. That's a terrible guess. So I went 23% and felt like that was too high. And then we see Sean over here at 7. I think Sean might win this, to be honest.
What did you say, Alex?
23%.
23%. So we've got Josh at 18, JL at 38, and Alex at 23%.
How many votes for this?
Oh, you're going to be happy about this one, JL.
Oh,
7,043 votes.
wow,
Oh, shit,
that
that's
is
a
a
lot of
high
votes.
sampling size.
That is a high sampling size. That sampling size is off the charts.
Sampling all over.
And this
the
was
place.
Twitter, so it
This
might
was
be more
Twitter.
towards the center. Oh no, maybe he's right.
We shall see. But Twitter also, sometimes they've got some of the most lopsided polls I've ever seen. Who knows what this one's going to be? So Josh locked in at 18%, Jail at 38, Alex at 23. Sean gave us 7%. The actual percentage of people that chose AJ Brown over DK Metcalf is 25%.
Wow.
So Alex, yet again, you are within 5. You are actually 2 away this time. So you get another 5 points. Josh,
There it is.
you were 7 percentage points away, which puts you
I'll take
within 10, which gives you 3 points. And JL, you were 13 percentage points away. So you're consistent. You were.
I mean, I'm not
I think
saying
you were
there's. I'm not saying there's definitely collusion, but there's only one player who knew about the game before we played the game. Take that and do with it what you will.
2 of the polls are from Twitter, and we've got 2 primary Twitter people here and
Yeah, I was gonna say,
one
Alex.
primary Reddit person.
Yeah, Alex said Twitter sphere earlier, which is like dad talk or something.
I've
think
never
I
tweeted
did that.
before.
So JL, yet again, you were 1 percentage point away, or you were 13.7. I can't talk.
1 percentage point away.
You were 13 percentage points away, so you get an additional point. Josh, you get 3 points. Alex, you get another 5. You have a pretty commanding lead. Someone's gonna have to get it exactly right to beat you in this final round.
Good. He's too
All right.
good. Unstoppable.
We've had it happen, I think, twice on the show now, where someone gets it exactly right.
It was me.
You got one
It
of them.
was you, yeah.
It was you.
It was you and Josh, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You guys are screwed. I think
That was a
I think
garbage
the one
one.
you got right was exactly 50%.
It was
as well.
50%. It was the lazy trade.
It was a mathematical guess, and I win this one.
Sean, I agree. That one surprised me a little bit too. I thought it was going to be higher for DK Metcalf, even though it
DK is
was lopsided.
He's my number 1 in Dynasty right now, and not Superflex.
Really?
It's DK. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's him.
Yeah.
That dude is.
Otherwise, yes, DK
That
Metcalf.
dude could get it. Like,
I agree. Number 1 dynasty.
I haven't pushed him above like DeAndre Hopkins yet, but
22 versus 28, man. 22
Devontae
versus
Adams.
28.
27. Yeah.
I know. What is Dynasty?
And Russell Wilson, man.
here's my thing with Dynasty is like I look probably 2 to 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Nothing more than that.
I don't want a 30-year-old. No, I'm joking. I don't care.
I think DeAndre Hopkins will be fine at 30. I think he'll be great. I think he'll be elite at 30. Sorry, fine's the wrong word. I think he'll still be an elite wide receiver at 30.
But what could you trade for each of them at that point?
That is the only downside is that people will like not trade you for a 28-year-old
Yeah.
for absolutely no reason, even though they have like 8 to 10 years left on their career.
10 years. Okay, we are on to our final round, and Alex has a commanding lead. He's up 10-3 to 2. JL, you have gotten points in both rounds, just not very many. Josh took the lead by getting a little bit closer to you on the last one.
Second
But
place.
if one of you guys gets it exactly right and Alex doesn't, you will take him down. So
It's likely.
our final poll. This is another redraft league. It has 294 votes. It comes at you from Twitter. Who would you rather have rest of season in half PPR? Mike Evans or Kenny Galladay?
Okay.
What percentage
messed
of
up.
people? What percentage of people chose Mike Evans?
When did this poll open?
This was yesterday.
This is tough.
We, and by we I mean me, hate Mike Evans trades on this show. They always beat me.
Do you think we're going to continue with that trend?
Well, I'm not playing, so it
Okay.
doesn't.
I don't know what to put.
Yeah, me
This
either.
is hard.
It has to be a number, right?
Yeah,
No.
you just draw a big frowny face. I tried to pick trades where, at least for this one, some of them are just interesting, like the AJ Brown one. I'm just curious where people stand on like those 2 young stud wide receivers. But then this one, ones that make you think, where you look at it. And I wish I had found a poll like the one that we saw earlier, the Russell Wilson, Aaron Jones.
I'm locked in.
That was an interesting one.
Yeah.
So
it's just so hard to value injury. Like, it's so hard to value how people perceive injury.
It is. Alex, you got yours written down?
Yeah, I just swapped it because of that.
Okay.
53% Evans over Galladay.
53% from Alex. John Luke? 57% from John Luke. Josh? 45% from Josh. So 1 second while I do a little bit of math.
We got Sean at 34%. So he's real down on Mike Evans.
Yeah. Or really high on Kenny Galladay.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's down on Mike Evans more for me. Reason why I'm leaning the Kenny Galladay side. They get Antonio Brown back. I'm just thinking perception-wise. Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans. He's not even playing that great without Chris Godwin on the field. I mean, he's getting touchdowns, but it's more like a tight end than a wide receiver, right? An elite wide receiver.
Exactly.
So. No. Yeah.
Okay. Are you guys ready for the final answer?
Yeah.
Alex locked in at 53%, JL locked in at 57%, and Josh locked in at 45%. Everyone scored points. How's it going to shake out, though?
So
it's not good.
I'm not right. Yeah, that means I lost.
Not necessarily. But the final answer was 52% chose Mike Evans. Alex, you were off by 1 percentage point.
Is that all three off by one?
You get
he was off by 2.
3-2-1. He got better each round by 1 percentage point. If we played one more round, he would nail it. So you get an additional 5 points. JL, you were off by 5 percentage points, so you also get 5 points. Josh, you're off by 7, so you get 3. So
JL beat me.
Josh, you have a final score of 6. JL, you have a final score of 7. And Alex is our winner with a final score of 15 points. Sorry, I need to make this more dramatic.
Do you have some sort of banner or balloons or something we can?
Ooh,
he's trying to stuff the banner right now.
Pinata. Adam Gase pinata.
Alex wins. Josh and JL smell. It's the classic insult. I can smell you guys from here. You stunk so bad in that game. Alex, maybe this is an unfair advantage having you play this game. That was killer. You were within 5 percentage points. You were within 3 percentage points on all 3 polls.
I'm never that far off. This is kind of weird for me, actually.
You say you're never that far.
So glad I don't have to see you until next Wednesday.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
To us again, Sean. Screw off.
What'd you say?
You said breaking news.
Oh, I did see that.
Maybe I should host the game next time so you guys have a chance.
Oh, yeah, hey, who won last time? Right? Alex, huh?
You guys. Oh, Matty Stafford on a COVID list. That's crazy.
Wait, really?
Yeah, that's what I didn't.
Maybe I can drop him in my dynasty league.
No.
Well, that certainly might affect the Kenny Galladay value.
Actually, though,
and really might affect the Minnesota Vikings defense streaming option this weekend.
Go trade for Vikings.
Who's their backup? It was Driscoll last year, but he's
David Blau, right?
Yes. David Blau.
I may be wrong there, but I
think you're right. Unless he left, he was there last year.
I'll double check.
David Blau.
And then Chase Daniels.
I think there's another guy. Okay, Chase Daniels, the other guy. So Chase Daniel might actually get the start over David Blau. In fact, I think that's probably likely.
And Kittle's fracture is not a Liz Frank, which is promising. I still haven't dropped him, and I don't have an IR spot. So
didn't Kittle say 3 weeks, and the doctor said 8 weeks? And
Kittle said 2 weeks.
Kittle said 2 weeks. Kittle said he's playing football right now, actively.
Dude,
he just sawed off his leg and re-stitched a new one on there.
I'm all about Chase Daniels. That dude knows how to make money and
be a backup.
Relax.
Yeah. I went to some of his games at Mizzou when he was the starter, and he was slinging it to ODB, and it was fun.
Man, I'd feel a little bit more optimistic about the Lions with Chase Daniel at the helm than David Blau, but I'm not feeling too good about either. I'm feeling real good about the Minnesota defense. if they're missing Kenny G and Matt Stafford, that's going to be a gross week. Okay, before we hop off, Alex, is there anything else you want to let us know about what you're doing, where people can find you, random tidbits about yourself, movie reviews, favorite Pokemon?
Well, Machamp's favorite Pokemon. That's an easy one. You can find me on Reddit. I'm at PeakedInHighSkool. I will always call you guys jabronis. That's my thing because The Rock is my idol, even though apparently he wasn't the one that came up with that, according to Sean. You can find me on Patreon as well if you want updated ranks, where I will update it based on injury news. I'm working on Dynasty ranks, looking at 2 quarterback for next year as well. That's really all I got going on. I just watched the movie Parasite.
Oh, so good.
It messed with me. So I check it out. Don't bring your phone with you to watch it.
You have to just be watching.
Yeah, don't drink anything. Just watch it.
What?
Yeah.
By don't drink it, you mean like water or anything?
No, you can drink water. Just don't drink any alcohol. You want to be
Gotcha.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Don't drink anything. Wear your third favorite shirt.
What's gonna happen?
Have your diaper on.
Open 3 windows with no. Okay, well, that's where you can find Alex. I highly recommend going and becoming a patron on Patreon. You get these trade charts a little bit early. You can sneak peek them the night before. Or how early do you post them?
I'll do it about close of business 5 o'clock on Tuesdays when the first ones come out, and then I'll usually try and run it maybe a couple times a week after that to see if injury news or anything happens as well. And then I have a live spreadsheet where a lot of people will pull their data and even use it to populate their own Excel spreadsheets and play with it. And they love to show them to me. I'm like, and they're cool. I love that people get to use it and make their own tools.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
That's awesome. That's one of the Reddit community is really cool about that, about creating tools around other people's work, kind of this collaborative workspace. That's awesome. Well, we're running out of time, but you can find us on Twitter at FrontYardFYF, Josh at FYF Josh, JL at FYF John Luke, and you can find me on Twitter at FYF Simon. We are out of here for today. We'll be back tomorrow, same time. Best strategy to beat Simon this week.
It's that easy. Don't suck. I mean, then you'll win, right? I mean, like, it's not that hard to beat Simon. Come on.
Pull his pants down in front of a group of people. Very easy. Works every single time.
Wait, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about fantasy football?
I have very, very little shame.
Not where I thought that sentence.
Very, very little.
I have literally the smallest amount of shame. So if you pulled my pants down, it wouldn't even affect me at all.
I know.
That being said, if you want to hear more about my tiny shame, follow all of us on Twitter because we all tweet about it constantly.
That's all we can tweet about.
We will be back same time, same place tomorrow. The best strategy to beat me is it's not going to happen. But if you want to pull my pants down, I guess that's a win for everyone. We will see you then. Josh, you got something to say?
Trading makes fantasy fun.